this was you a new weapon. I don't contemplate, I meditate, then off your fucking head.
Yo, what's up, man?
What's happening, man? Good afternoon.
Yo, we here. We
are
back,
indeed.
right?
Back.
You know?
Another one.
And another one. And another one. Man, how you been?
I've been good, man. I had a good couple of weeks, man. It's been really busy, but it's been a blessing. God has been giving.
Yo, man, busy is good, though.
It is.
Man.
It is.
You know what I mean? Busy is good because that means I always say busy keeps us employed.
It does.
Right?
It's a fact.
Busy keep
the
me
money
out
going,
of trouble. You
keep
know what I'm
everything
saying?
flowing.
Hey.
Definitely keep me out of trouble.
Absolutely, man, because we say the idle mind is the devil's workshop. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
But we're going to go ahead and open this up, man. My name is Malcolm Yates.
My name is Andrew Nelson.
And we are The Narrative, man. So thank you guys for tuning in. Like, subscribe, go on our Instagram, go on our Facebook, go on our YouTube. Make sure you go ahead and share this, man. The more likes you give us, man, it's the more popular we can get. We can get in that algorithm, and
Absolutely.
we can continue to give you that good narrative to help guide you through this life. You know what I'm saying? This crazy lifestyle that we got going on through all these crazy topics. You know what I mean?
In this crazy world. I thought about Jeezy just now.
That's it. You're a whole fan, man. I noticed that, man.
Definitely a whole fan. But that was Jeezy just now, though.
That was.
Yeah.
But you know what?
But I'm definitely a whole fan.
And I know we didn't even talk about that, but it just hit my mind.
Yeah.
You hear about Rocafella going up for sale?
I did not.
So there's and I apologize, it's not even in the Joni bot, but you know, it just kind of hit my mind.
Hey, man, your inspiration strikes at any time.
Yeah. So Dame Dash was filed, was settled against. He had to do a lawsuit. There was a lawsuit against Dame Dash, and the judge recommended him to sell his third of Rocafella to settle $800,000 lawsuit against him.
Oh.
So, you know, Jay said he didn't want to do that. Dame said he didn't want to do that.
Right.
But guess who bought that third for Rocafella?
Diddy. all right.
That's a good one. You would think Diddy did that shit, man, but not Diddy.
Okay, not Diddy. Who was it? Who did it? Who did it?
Dame and Cam. Mase and Cam.
Oh.
Mace and Cameron.
That's kind of like poetic justice.
Dog, you talking about the ultimate checkmate?
Yeah.
So these cats bought that third off of Rocafella, off of Dame, because you know they cool. You know,
definitely.
Damon Wilson is like this.
At least they used to be.
So Dame and Cam is like this.
Right.
But Dame and Jay used to be like this. But now
Definitely.
they broke, so guess
Right.
what? Cam still mess with Dame.
Right.
Dame like, look, take it off their hands. So they you know, Mase and Cam put some money together. I don't know how much, because if you my man, you only need $800,000. I give you about what, $2 million, because you're my man, right? Now I got the third of Rocafella. That means I got Reasonable Doubt. I got Volume 1. I got Volume 2. I got The Dynasty. I got what? The Blueprint.
Yeah. Every album that came up until what's it?
Up until like Kingdom Come.
Kingdom Come.
Like
there we go. I'm about to say
right?
the jazz album.
Yep,
Kingdom Come. Yep. That's how I'm about to call it.
The jazz album.
Yep.
So you remember that Check Your Own video. You always be number 2.
Yeah.
That was against Mase. Guess what Mase got? Mase owns that catalog.
Well, yeah, he owns a sixth of it.
Wee.
A sixth of it, right? Because they split a third 50-50.
So what I'm
allegedly,
hearing,
and there might even be a ninth of it because Dame might be a silent partner if they're cool. But
still, I got autonomy on that, right? You can't do anything without my signature.
That's
because I own it.
Yeah.
So the another part is that Mase was saying there's been someone that's trying to sell him, trying to get him to sell that portion, and that person who's trying to get him to sell it is Nas.
I bet, because Nas is a businessman. Nas said he was like, "Listen, watch this."
So the beef came from Jay and Nas,
right? But listen, Nas already owned a part of Hov's catalog.
What?
Yeah. So I forget who the record exec it was that said it, but oh man, is it Dead Presidents? There's some part that Nas had a sample that Hov needed cleared.
Oh, word.
Right? And Nas was like, all right, if you're going to clear it, I need 25%. And Hov was being a businessman. He looking at it like, man, whatever.
Right. It was that song. I made this song about the tech up on your dresser.
Yeah.
You
There
made
you go.
it a
Yeah.
hotline.
I made it a hot song. That's the one. Yeah.
Yeah.
So in order to take that deal, they was like, we need 25% of that song, and Hov was like, done.
I'm out for presidents to
Right.
represent me.
So now,
Say
fast
what?
forward,
Yeah.
Nas is the holder on that song. So Nas already owned a piece of Hov's catalog, but not to because I'm a Hov fan growing up, so I'm not gonna trade on him.
Okay.
But today, Hov the capitalist, I respect him, but I don't necessarily support all of his decisions anymore.
No, I get it.
But back then that was my guy.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna hold him down for this one argument in particular.
Okay.
Hov looking at it like this, like, yeah, I give you a quarter of that small little slice of that big ass pie that I got,
Word.
right? Because otherwise my pie wouldn't have been this big. So I think he saw the big picture. Because he's not a businessman, he's a business.
I'm a business man. So what would you do if you were Cam and Mase?
Yeah.
What would you do with your portions of Rocafella?
Hold
Knowing
on
that
to
you,
it. I'd hold it.
Jay-Z.
I'd hold it, and I'd continue to collect my royalties.
Okay.
I play the long game. If everybody coming to me talking about sell this, it's because they see and they understand that they could transact a higher value than what they buying it for you from.
Word.
Right? So what I would do if I was Cam and Mase, I would say that as Cam and Mase, because I did so much in the music industry at that time and I don't own anything to show for it, here go now my portion, right? Because now I own a portion of a catalog that's owned by this company. I see the value that Rocafella was an independent album. They had a distribution deal. They owned all of their masters. Word. They owned all of their product. Word. All they did was make a deal to split distribution. Yeah. So yeah, I'd see the long value in that, and I'd eat.
I ain't gonna lie to you, man. I'll hold that joint ransom, and I'll have Jay. I come to Jay and like, look, here's something ridiculous. Yeah, you got to get. I'm gonna slide you this number. Yeah, you gonna pay me for this job?
No, it would have to be. So you got to count. Like perpetuity is a different kind of calculation, man. Because you calculating forever. Yeah. If Nas and I mean if Mase and Cam, I don't think they 50 yet, right?
No, they're still like early mid 40s. They mid 40s. So if I'm 42.
Let's count it as
they like 46.
Let's count it as that they 50 just for argument's sake, right? Okay. It's a solid chance that they could live until they 90. Would you agree with that?
Oh yeah, now how things is rolling. Absolutely.
So when you talk about 40 years of streaming through a digital age, right? Because so Blockbuster just announced
we just started.
Yeah, we just started. Blockbuster just announced, not Blockbuster, ha. Blockbuster been going for a long time, bro.
You can see how old we are because I didn't even flinch.
Right.
I was like, yeah, okay.
Best Buy just announced that they will no longer,
Oh, they both 48.
They both 48. There we go. So 48. So 50 was a good estimate, right? So counting from there, that's for the 40 years. And look, and Best Buy just announced that they will no longer carry physical media. They don't even sell it no more. It's going away.
It's a wrap.
Everything is streaming. The future is streaming. So you talking about 40 years. And say if for some reason that a niche market maintains physical media alive, you still got a third of that physical media as well, right? But I'm talking about 40 years worth of royalties. What number is that? You can't put a number on it.
You can set your kids.
Yeah, man. And then now,
because now
when you dead, you could pass down that share.
That's true.
Right?
That's
so
true.
what number, right? What number is gonna make it worth it? And I don't know that Hov, because Hov's net worth can't cover the long term value, right? If you talking about the future value of money, right? Because that's how
I would say, give me a portion of title, right? And
Hov sold title. He don't even own it no more.
See,
Jack Dorsey.
Oh, really?
Yep.
I didn't know that. All right, so no, I'm keeping it down. Because honestly, I don't know Jay Ventures enough to say let me partner in with that. Yeah. But if he is a billionaire like we say he is,
no, he is, bro. He is
2.5 billion. Okay,
listen,
so
and that's equity in his own companies too, right? So, like we not just talking about like we talking about real value, right? Can't nobody come and say I'm gonna snatch your brand, and now because your sales is tied into this distribution deal with Adidas, now your net value drop overnight. He owned that wine joint, that wine company, right? Yeah. He owned his shares in title, in which he sold, right? He owns his shares in Rocafella. Can't nobody come move his market, right? So that's one thing where we got to understand. Hov is a little different structure.
So what is it that Jay-Z has that we can invest in? That's where I was going at.
Oh,
like, you know what I'm saying?
Monogram, Rock Nation. Oh, I didn't know that was but Monogram is coming up. That's gonna be one, right?
Rock Nation is the marketing organization.
And then Paper Airplanes,
and
or whatever.
That was called
Paper Planes.
Paper planes. Yeah, I was about to wear that hat today too.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Well, look, I just like seeing cats we grew up with
Making it.
Definitely. I love seeing people win, man, and for them to get that catalog is a win. Yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a win for them, man. And as they continuously win, you know, we got to hear about someone who's continuously losing in my eyes.
A loser.
And that's Mr.
That got it.
Mr.
Sean.
Yep, Mr. Take that himself, man.
Take that. No, or don't take that.
Yeah, well, he's been taking a lot.
Right.
From what we heard, from what we hearing.
That's exactly what we
I
heard.
really didn't get too much in it because I gotta be transparent. You know, I like Meek, man.
Right.
You know, Meek is my boy. Not like that, but like that, right?
No, I respect what you're saying. I do.
So when I heard the story, and then I heard him was like, yeah, man, you're just doing this because I'm about to put out my first independent album.
Mm-hmm.
You know, my resident conspiracy theorist went in. They checked in and said, you know what? I ain't listening to none of this, man, because that's Meek. I know the young boy since he had the braids and the dirty braids in his head, man. And I remember one time he tried to get into the club and
cornrow Meek.
You know what I'm saying?
So you remember Raw Meek is what you talking about? What I'm hearing you say.
He'd come to the club with no ID, and it was, you know, and I had to let him in, but.
Right.
So I tried
when he was still yelling on the tracks.
When he was still, he's still screaming on them goddamn tracks.
Yeah, he's still screaming. That's true.
I tried to find the little medium for it, but his new album ain't that bad, dog. It's pretty thorough. Right. If you ain't hear Meek's new album, it's only like 5 or 6 tracks. All right, it's all right.
I'll check it out today.
It's all right. So what happened? What's going on? What's the story, man?
I mean, so in short, we might as well change it to Me Too than just change it to Diddy, because he out here running this. So what's new in it? So it's been alleged through. So there's a third party. I don't remember the guy's name, and I don't want to make him famous, to be honest with you.
No.
So whatever his name is, he files a lawsuit, and in that lawsuit, he alleges 3 new people on the Diddy's hit list, right? So Stevie J, right? So I didn't, bro. I did not know. I thought Stevie
been around.
I thought Stevie was out here getting it the way he was living. So I didn't realize that Stevie was giving it and taking it. I didn't realize that. The
rat face.
Yeah, I didn't know. So that was news to me, man. I actually thought that. Like I knew that he was a dirtball. I know he was out here getting yeeks, but I just didn't know that he was.
Yeah, I mean, he had a great story on Love and Hip Hop.
Right,
I mean, he was slaying it.
Right, he was. That's what I didn't connect it. That was a shock to me.
Like this, I wouldn't have been a surprise because he'd been around Faith and Biggie and Diddy since the early 90s. So his name not being in it, then hearing it didn't throw me off. Like that.
Right. Mm-hmm. So, so Stevie J, and then so now Usher though, right? Like, cause that was like, I was like, whoa.
I ain't too surprised about that one either.
They said Usher was, and then, so no wonder why he said let it burn. He was talking to himself. He was talking to himself, apparently coaching his way through it.
You know, unfortunately, I'm not surprised about Usher. I mean, you know, he's always been a great singer and a great entertainer, but it didn't surprise me.
I mean, so I guess to be honest with you, I wasn't like I didn't hit one of these with Meek or Usher. To be honest with you, I didn't hit one of them. I wasn't like.
Really? Now that's what I hear with me. Like, word, you're from North Philly, dog. And I'm still on the fence on the story. But what's the story?
All right, so let's give him the benefit of the doubt because I want to. I
ain't trying to be a Meek,
but I gotta play situations advocate here, right?
Okay.
So yeah. Let's start with the picture. Like, you my brother, man. When I say that, I mean it, right?
Yeah.
But we ain't never gonna show up to the same spot with the same shirt on and pose for a picture. We doing that?
No, we're not.
Is that where we at?
But has it happened before?
Intentionally?
No, never. Listen, dog. Listen, let me look into the camera on this one. Men, if you go out to an event and you call one another and say, "Let's dress alike," dog. You listen. If you're not part of the clan,
right? You're
part of the clan,
right?
Because that's it. Like, if you're not part of the gang, the letter gang,
right?
Once you say, "Yo, bro, let's hit them and kill them with the matching outfit," you up? Nope. That's it. That's violation.
That's a little wild.
Violation.
Now, with that being said, I don't think that it's that far-fetched that it was planned because Diddy grew up during the time where people was doing that. Because for real, in the late 80s, like dancing like your mans was a thing.
If it was an R&B group.
Or if y'all was a dance group.
Or
Y'all could have just been homies.
Some shit like,
listen, y'all didn't have to be the Locks. Y'all could have been Mark, James, and Keith, who used to be pop locking at the club on Saturdays. Y'all had a little dance bit. So y'all showed up to the club during. Come on, man. Listen, you already know when Teddy Riley was making music during that time, them cats was dressing alike, bro. They was regular niggas dressing alike.
They became Guy.
And then they became Guy, yes. But not all of them could sing. That's all I'm saying. Not all of them. Some of them was just in there dancing, bro. Because Guy had people in the background in their music videos. They was in the club dressed up the same way. People was doing it, bro. Because I used to see my cousins, they all had on the same type of stuff. I know this is real. I lived through it. I'm not super old, but I ain't that young either. I still remember the early 90s. Like, I got vivid memories of them.
For real.
Right? Criss Cross had people wearing clothes backwards and stuff. And that was when Diddy was in college. You understand?
That's the truth.
So he would have vivid memories of these. Diddy older than us.
Diddy almost 60. People don't realize that.
So with that being said,
man, he almost 60.
If you trying to get on, right, you Meek, because Meek was local.
Yeah.
Right? And then all of a sudden Meek blew up. Right now,
But he was blowing up because of Rose, though. It wasn't necessarily Diddy, right?
I mean, I respect that, but how did he get in the door?
I don't know.
Because they allegedly Diddy is a gatekeeper.
Diddy is definitely a gatekeeper.
Right. And so we call him a troll? And people paying their fare with cheeks. Man, allegedly.
So for the Hershey Highway,
right.
Diddy's the troll. Diddy's the toll on the
Diddy's
Hershey
the
Highway.
troll on the Hershey Highway. Pay your fare. I think Diddy's guilty.
Yo, that's crazy.
So
that's crazy.
Now I don't want to believe that Meek paid the fare. I don't want to believe that Usher paid the fare.
Yo.
But what I'm wondering is why this guy with a third party lawsuit where his goal is to get some coins from Diddy.
Okay.
Why you name dropping with other people for no reason?
So, they always say a person's only importance is what they know about you.
That's correct.
Or anytime someone's important is when they got something to say about you.
Right.
And I've been noticing that, so now this dude wants some clout by putting somebody else's name in their mouth.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. Now let me ask you a question. If somebody come out and allege that Diddy charged you a toll and you paid the fare, would you deny paying the fare?
Listen, I'm gonna deny that instantly.
Right?
Vehemently.
So why hasn't him or Usher denied paying the fare? He said he ain't gay, and I respect that, right? And I even believe it, maybe, right?
I don't think he is.
Maybe.
Okay. I don't think okay.
But then, so his way of proving was a little odd to me.
He went overboard by expressing his interest in women.
Right.
Cool, but now you're feeling like you overcompensating in a way.
That's correct.
Like now you're
that's where you went? That's where you went?
Yeah.
I would have said something to the nature of, well, if that's the case, then where they at, right? Because this is the real truth. Like if somebody out here alleging that you part of that community, there gotta be witnesses, right? Every time I turn around,
and some footage,
there's allegedly heterosexual dudes that's getting called out, right, about stuff that they did. So why is nobody else ever calling out Meek? So I think in one way I could play the advocate for that.
Okay.
But on the other end, I just don't understand why you don't there's no vehement denial of it.
Yeah.
And there's like a overbearing almost, like I gotta go double down on proving this.
I gotta go extra hard.
Yeah, like what Dave Chappelle said, nigga, I told you I work at McDonald's.
Yeah. They always say when somebody overcompensate, they allow, they do things to try to, to cover it up. You know what I'm saying?
And then he like, oh, I'm not gay, I'm from Philly. Like, what that mean?
What does that got to do with it?
I don't have anything to do with it.
was from Philly.
Right.
I don't even know who Karamo is.
So
Karamo.
I don't know, man, but I know Diddy is wild, and this is blowing my mind, man, because it's like they tearing up the game now.
Yo, my question is this though, right? Yeah. Why is it that's like the charge that really like the scarlet letter for us?
I know, right?
Like what? And let's just be political, right? I'm gonna be political. Why does it matter?
Right.
Why,
I mean, because ultimately it don't matter.
Why does their escapades?
It don't matter.
And I'm just taking it to another level. But why does their escapades truly matter? Like,
Right.
if they want to be Benny the Blades, let them be Benny the Blade.
Right.
Right. But for our culture,
Yeah.
somehow when you get that stamp on you, and what Gilly say, when they put that smut on your name,
Right.
it's like the worst thing ever for us.
Right.
But we live in 2024,
Right.
where it is what it is.
I get it.
You know what I'm
So
saying?
I think really what it come down to at its core, I think it's the shame of being called out of your bullshit. Right? That got to be
being
what
embarrassed?
it is. It's the embarrassment of
Okay.
it, right? Because it's like at the end of the day, and I really believe this, right? I think that first of all, we got to really stop demonizing people who don't share the same sexual orientation of us, because that's wild.
Honestly, it ain't our business.
Right.
It really
it's
ain't our
not.
business.
So at the end of the day, that's wild, right?
And then
Like,
we
so
clowning him.
what?
Yeah.
Because that's their business, right? That's their business.
It's
That's
what
their
you
choice.
do between your
right?
sheets is what you do between your sheets, bro.
Right. So I think that first that we need to clean that up. Like we need to step it up, right? Like that's wild. Like they're humans.
They are.
And they deserve the same respect that we want. Like you gotta treat people how you expect to be treated.
And to be honest, we are practicing a cancel culture against our own.
Right, and that's wild too.
Right, because
it's wild and
because
it's
now we
stupid.
putting these allegations out on these folks. Right now, you stamping these people, and everybody coming out and saying this is about the person.
Yeah.
And in the grander scheme of things, what we're ultimately doing is trying to cancel that person.
Right. But so then my thing with that is, my response to that is, like, first of all, we shouldn't be canceling nobody
At all.
right? Cancel culture.
Definitely when you're successful,
we
you
already
maneuver
right.
through this mayonnaise.
We already got enough people out here struggling to find role models, and if we putting everybody on a pedestal and expecting them to be perfect in our eyes, then we ain't never gonna have a solid role model.
That's a
Like
fact.
people got flaws, humans got
fact.
flaws. Like
That's
it
a
is what
fact.
it, like that's it, we all come with flaws.
That's a
Nobody
fact.
let he who is without sin cast the first stone.
Exact, and that's where
Right.
I'm
So we
going
need to
with
start.
it.
We got to stop doing that, man. We got to stop pointing the finger.
We definitely do, man, because that's crazy.
But with that being said, though, I'm gonna say this, like, because bringing it back to, because the shame is still accountable. You feel that shame, so where is it coming from? It's coming from the shame. That's where the value in it is.
you're
That's why
absolutely
we all want to stay away from it because of the shame of it. Because it's like,
you're
so
right.
in 2024, if your sexual preference is other than heterosexual, feeling whatever option, if that's what it is, like that's what it is.
That's what
Just
it
be
is.
that, right?
Just be you.
Don't perpetrate to be
And I think
heterosexual
and I think that's
when you're
the
not.
issue.
And I think so. We need to just start calling it what it is. Like the shame is
stop
associated
fronting.
with stop fronting. That's what it is.
Like,
So like what,
yeah.
that's all. I think that's where
Like stop
where it
front. I mean,
comes down to.
like they say, living your truth, living your life.
That's
man.
correct. It's 2024.
And it's
Living your life.
2024, and it is what it is, bro.
Right, because people will respect that.
Yeah, and that's what. And I think,
but
that's
they
what
don't
it
respect
is.
that, and that's where the shame come in. Because now you in the same boat as a rat, right? Like, because now it's like, dog, like, because why you playing?
Yeah, why you playing with it?
And then now you want to convince everybody otherwise. You did it. It's done. Right? Own it.
Yeah, man.
Stop playing. Stop trying to raise reasonable doubt.
Well, here's my other question, though, bro. Why is it their agenda when it comes down to you trying to say be an ultimate success in Hollywood? Why is the agenda demasculation?
Right.
Why is it that if I want to continuously show the world my success, my talent, that I have to go through a gauntlet or a gamut of demasculation just to continue doing what I was God-given gifts to do?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that there, it starts to, you know what I mean? Like I start to look at it in that type of angle. Like, damn, I'm a good actor. I'm a good actress.
Right.
I'm a great musician. But anytime I want to try to showcase my talent, I got to go through this gauntlet of something that demasculates me if it's not my thing. You know what I'm saying?
I do. Yeah.
So it really kind of bothers me on that's what we got to do the things that we need to do.
Right.
Like, is that a sacrifice, bro? Like, I really don't think that's a sacrifice, because why would I have to sacrifice my integrity and who I am in order to showcase my talent?
Well, I'm gonna say this. So first of all, that should never be the barrier to entry to showcase your talent. But I want to say this, and I mean this with the utmost conviction, bro. if that is the true barrier to entry, the reason why it is because people willing to pay the toll. The truth of the matter is, if people stop selling their self, right? If there was no market, if people was like 10 toes down, like, nah, I'm not playing this damn game, right? Snatching their kids up out of the industry, snatching their desires up out of the industry and calling it out. If people was doing that instead of choosing their betterment, their own personal advancement, then we wouldn't have these problems, man.
You're absolutely right.
Because that's what it really would come down to. It's happening, and it's happening in the dark because people are accepting it and keeping it quiet. And we paying the toll.
Yeah, you're right.
Because we'd rather, as long as we could say that we got more than somebody else, that'd be enough for us. Right, and that's the problem. Honestly, right? Like we not benchmarking it based on what's good, what's bad, what's needed, and what matters. Like we not doing it. We're not coming from a perspective of what has values. We coming from a perspective of, can I benefit from this? Right? It's just gonna put me in a better position. So yeah, let me make this moral sacrifice that I gotta live with for the time being and deal with it because I want to get put on, because I want to live this life. Right? That's why the love of money is the root of all evil. Because when you got that love for it, like when you got that connection where it's like now, like this is like your emotional connection to it, now you could be controlled. So I feel like that's what it's about.
No, you're right. You're right, man. It's and you try to say build your own platform, but if you got a gatekeeper like Diddy and you know the other words of who else they say was doing stuff like that, you know.
Other than Diddy?
Yeah. Was it Tyler Perry or something like that?
Yeah. Well, I heard that to Tyler Perry. Yeah. Clearly we had the Jeffrey Epstein.
So if you're trying to build your own, like, oh, let's do our own. And our own is the ones that's continuously doing that. They're like, it makes it really complicated to try to, you know, make it to the next level without having to sacrifice things that you shouldn't have to sacrifice.
And it does. But then also, two things got to happen for us though, right? One, we need to make it. Stop snitching really should only apply when you in the streets.
That's the only time. That's the only time it's applicable.
Right? Why are we out here protecting people's secrets? If Diddy been touching people for all of these years,
you're right.
Why is it not more people speaking out about it? We gotta chill out with that. Oh, that's just Diddy. But I read in the lawsuit that I heard somebody reading, because I didn't read it myself. They read it out loud on Instagram, and I just listened to the documents and read along with it. One of the people was in there the guy that put the lawsuit. He said that he went to the person to Diddy's manager or whatever, and the response was, "Well, you know, Sean will be Sean." That right there.
True.
If that's true, like what is that? Like that's it. Call it out.
Yeah,
because if Sean will be Sean, then Sean won't be Sean if more people knew that Sean is Sean.
That's very true. But then it goes to the point where is whatever happened to Terry Crews. How come we don't know who that executive person was? Right? Where are they names at? Why are we always protecting others?
Right.
But we kind of throw ours under the bus.
Because we'll sign a non-disclosure agreement if the price is right.
Because the only reason why we knew about that who was that other producer's boy who got caught? Older gentleman. He had like all these superstars' name on there, and they finally brought his name out, and I forget who his name is, but they finally had it to not Epstein, but it was another gentleman.
Okay.
And it was like, all right, you finally put his name out there, but if you're gonna put Diddy's out there, you're gonna put other, let's say, lower level black folk out there, why ain't you putting up the higher level executive who is not the gatekeeper, but the gate, right? Or the institution? Right. Why are we continuing?
Or the market, right?
Why are we protecting them?
Because what's the boy name? The rich boy from Microsoft that I can't think of his name right now.
Microsoft,
his wife left him.
Or
no, the OC Bill Gates. There we go. So his wife left him, right?
Yeah.
We know he was in that Jeffrey Epstein stuff. Right, but it didn't get called out because he had enough money to shut it down. It's enough non-disclosure agreements, and he could pay off enough people. Yeah. But that comes back to the original thing, right? Like that's our issue, right? Yeah. We out here choosing money and personal gain, and that's why it ain't getting called out.
And that's why I don't feel sympathy for anybody who comes back and say, "Hey, you did this to me, but I signed up for this. Oh, you made me a millionaire, but you did this to me. No,
right?
You paid you know like." And it sounds like kind of contradictory, but it's like if you signed up and you knew it was happening, you knew what you knew what you was getting into. Yeah. So,
salute to Star Corey.
That's right.
Aisha Staples, absolutely indeed.
Yes, sir.
Peace and blessings.
Yes, sir. Yes,
so,
sir.
What else? We got to shift gears.
Yeah, because we could talk about Diddy
all day, right? Because there's so many people coming
there's
out.
Many layers to that, man. You know, when you see the control, they say when you control the system, you control the narrative,
right?
And that's why exactly that's one of the quotes we live by here, Corey, man. Trying to control our own narrative, man, because we don't own the system. Right. So let's try to figure out how can we control that system and how we can get in there. And until we do, we gotta make and control our own narratives, bro.
Right. Speaking of making and controlling our own narratives and controlling the system, I would imagine that the best way for us to do that is by learning the system. Right? So let's talk a little bit about the system.
Okay.
So y'all already know throughout the course of the week, I stumble upon some solid political advice, and I love incorporating it into the show.
I love it.
So what I've been learning about through Dick Cheney's life is the unitary executive theory. So it's a theory that's been around for a minute, and it basically is that the chief executive, has the complete power, right? Absolute power in times of a crisis, right? Now, you know, America got the stare decisis as our foundational law. We do things as we always done it, right? So you got to set a precedent. So this precedent got set. Dick Cheney, when he was active in politics before Bush pulled him out of retirement in the late 60s, he used to work for Donald Rumsfeld or whatever.
Yep.
And shout out to Anthony for telling me about this movie, man. It was a good movie. I ended up watching it and analyzing it. Great watch. But so he worked for Donald Rumsfeld, and he basically chose Donald Rumsfeld because Donald Rumsfeld was boasting about power brokering, and he was like, "Ooh, I want to be that. I want to be what that guy is." So he got in, and he worked as a servant basically for Rumsfeld for years, man, and he learned the game, and he made himself politically indispensable, right? But in the process, he goes to this young attorney at the time who's working out. I want to say that he worked somewhere in the Justice Department, a young Anthony Scalia.
Okay.
And he says to him, he's like, "What do you think about the unitary executive theory?" And basically found out that he was a supporter of it. He found the legal argument and was able to play in the legal gray area. And he utilized this information to set up a situation where he had autonomy in running the government under the Bush administration.
What?
It's
autonomy.
Autonomy. So basically what ends up happening is, so this man, he was the chief of staff for Gerald Ford, I think it was, but Gerald Ford didn't get reelected or whatever. So he has a short stint on Gerald Ford. Then Jimmy Carter wins the office. He goes into the background for a little while, but then uses that as an opportunity to hop back in. They get Nixon back in after the Watergate scandal and all of that. Like he brings Rumsfeld back. Rumsfeld makes the connection into the Nixon administration. I mean, excuse me, not Nixon. I'm sorry. Reagan administration. Okay. They build themselves up. He becomes like the Secretary of Defense. He's all in all of the right parties, building relationships with George Bush Sr. in the late 80s and the 90s. And then basically when he's next in line to run for president, his daughter had a wife, and he was like, "Look, I don't want to drag my daughter through the weeds that had happened during this time, because you know it was rough in the late 80s. So he was like, I'm going to retire. Yeah. He retires, and he falls out of the game until George W. Bush years later says, like, I want to run for president, but I got this issue with my experience. I don't have no experience. So you being an elder statesman, if you come on as my running mate, it'd be cool. Cheney was like, man, I don't want to be no ceremonious leader. So he was like, if you can agree to basically giving me some mundane activities like handling war. He said mundane activities, war, foreign relations, energy, like these huge sectors. He's like, and I'll take care of them for you. You know what I mean? And help you out. And George W. agreed to it. So now September 11th happens, and then he has the best situation. He already was the Secretary of Defense. He owns this oil company. He got partnerships with logistics companies, KBR.
I remember that.
He gives them the no-bid contracts. He takes over. He just uses this masterful plan to pretty much operate with autonomy. And I know I can relate because I was on active duty during that time, and bro, we was eating. We was ordering all kind of stuff. It was a crazy time.
It was a crazy time, yeah.
Right.
Absolutely it was. Absolutely it was. Then that's where Halliburton came from. And then Halliburton was overseas and getting all the governmental contracts. Yeah, that's crazy.
So, but he used it off of the unitary executive theory that they got executive powers, that anything that like Congress legislates, but the operational stuff, it's 100% falls in the president. And people don't really question these kind of things when you at war. They just like, let's make us safe. So as a result of his like wide reach, that's how we had like these enhanced interrogations and how they was going in and snatching people off the street. Like they was like the gangsters of the world for a while when they was quote unquote investigating this terrorist attack. And it was crazy the amount of
I remember
reach that
they
had.
was really just
They was out here waterboarding
They was
people.
just doing whatever
they
they
was
needed
using
to do.
Guantanamo Bay as a place, that was technically not U.S. territory, but still under our control to where we could operate in the gray area. And they was like answering questions real pimpish, like, oh well, we don't feel that this was a problem that we did. Okay. And they was using the logic behind like, all right, if the United States does not do these immoral things, and we saying we don't feel it's a problem, then that's the logic that everything is cool.
So you think, with that being said, that unilateral control, you think that's going to get reinvoked?
I do, right? So because with this stare decisis, like I began with, right, we set a precedent. So the legal actions that he took and the way that he did it, right, it's already a precedent that's set. So now if another president wants to do it, all he has to do is cite the precedent.
Just precedent. That's what they do in law all the time. That's what the Supreme Court does.
That's correct.
That's what all lawyer does. Yeah.
Stare decisis.
Wow.
We do things as we always done it.
So which president you think trying to do that?
I mean, so I can't really say, but I do know that I've heard Trump say several times that he wants to become a dictator, right?
That's one good vehicle to ensure that happens.
What a good vehicle. And we already got a real life example of it, man. Yeah. So
I mean, we are in the middle of funding and helping wars. So watching some of the things that's going on in Israel and Palestine, and then watching the war crimes that's happening, it's going to be a point in time where somebody got to jump in.
That's correct.
Now, who's going to jump in is the question.
That is the question.
And when.
And on what grounds.
And what grounds, and then what's the ramifications of someone jumping in.
And so that's, man, the ramifications, if we were to get into that, like, man, it can go all day, but some immediate ramifications. The United States is not clear cut on the side of Israel or Palestine.
No, they let's say 60-40.
Right. It's split.
Yeah, 60-40.
Right.
Because we say we with Palestine, but we give all the money to Israel.
Right. So our budget definitely is supporting Israel.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about the constituency.
Oh,
so what I mean is if
50-50
if we have our executive branch makes a decision to say that we're gonna enter into the conflict, which side do they enter on? Whatever side they enter on, it's going to be an extremely large block of people that's going to have an issue with it.
Exactly, but the side they got to enter on is the side of the best for business.
Well,
so just be honest with you.
So that's where I'm struggling with that because
which one is best for business?
Neither one of them, right? They both, because war is bad for business.
No, war is great for business.
War is great for business as the person who's benefiting off of the logistics of war.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But outside of that, it's not good for business. Let's remember when World War II occurred, the United States switched all of its manufacturing capacity to wartime.
No, you're right.
So the state benefited, but all of the small businesses, right? They got co-opted. Understand this, right?
You're right.
They wasn't making profits. They was getting government subsidies.
Yeah, so let me say that back. Like mom and pops, local businesses, they hurt the most.
That's correct.
But
a lot of money is transacted.
Yeah, our Fortune 500s, our Fortune 100s are too big to lose institutions. Those are the ones that win, because one thing I said on the show before is when we going through the pandemic and we had to give out all that money, how are we going to pay it back?
Right.
How are we going to pay back all these PPPs? And the only way we pay back this free money is go through war.
Right. Well, because then we can extract resources and add value that can be transacted to actually back up this fiat currency.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that's another story for another day. But now what do we do now, right? Because so America got allies. Like Israel has been our ally since they become a nation state in the 40s, right? So if you don't back your ally, what does it say to our other allies? If we do back our ally, right, what does it say to the constituency here who understands that Palestine is experiencing genocide, right?
Yeah.
And then how many people, so then the other part that really scares me, if America enters in this conflict, right, who is that going to force to enter in to support Palestine?
So that's what I'm saying. So if we
Right.
jump in backing, this organization,
Then Iran jumping in.
then Iran jumps in, right?
And then if Iran jumps in, are we gonna have a situation where China and Russia gonna feel emboldened? Because now we got an enemy of my enemy is my friend situation.
Your enemy of my enemy is my friend.
And so now if you got United States, Israel, Palestine, Iran, and just one of China or Russia, does that become a world war now?
That's exactly what comes to it. Now we at war.
Right. And in this kind of already little conflicts going on already. You already see what's going on in South America. They basically saying that if we don't get our land, we're going to start cutting off heads or something like that. And although I don't agree, again, because war, nobody wins in war, and I think I talked about this, right? I want to just highlight the fact that there is conflict brewing up in all parts of the world.
No, you're right. Everywhere has some type of civil unrest.
Yeah.
And this
As
is
a
scary.
mariner, living his best life, I was also suffering at the time and know how difficult it is to pay bills.
No, that's something like trying to advertise.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. But
All right. Well, yeah, we
Thanks
died.
for
But
tuning in,
Corey said, yeah, thanks for tuning in. We got to tear down systems like HUD. I mean, I think that could be explored. I think that HUD may have some issues with it, but I don't know if tearing it down is the right place because there's still a lot of federal dollars in housing and urban development. If used right, then it could actually develop the actual urbanization places. So I don't know if tearing the system down is the right way as much as it is as redirecting the effect and the impact of it. I don't know. I definitely agree that there's a lot that needs to be evaluated, though. I do agree with that.
But so like now with that being said, understanding that unilateral control can be something that's there.
Yeah.
We have to start digging into what's happening in April and into November, right? Which is who we vote for, right? Yeah. And to be honest, man, the marketing that's been going on, or the campaigning, or however it is, has been real disrespectful.
Definitely.
Like really, really disrespectful. From 45 saying, the black people love me because we share mugshots. We have similar convictions.
Right. When he said that, there's support because now that I've been indicted.
Like, is that what you think?
Is
that what you think of us, right? And then
bro, that ain't even a question. Obviously,
it's what I'm saying. Like, what narrative do we provide as a people for the marketing execs at the campaign? This is like if you get picked to run a presidential campaign, a lot of times you're the best of the best. It's like it's like working a Super Bowl, right? So those people advise the president of, okay, these is our priorities. This is what we're going to do as outputs. Yeah. I mean, these rooms are rooms that gets vetted over and over and over again before any output comes because it gets scrutinized. Yeah. So for them to say, and I know he probably rogued it, but for them to be like, mugshot, sneaker release at SneakerCon, right? And then Biden sitting down with a family to eat fried chicken over dinner. What is that saying about us? Like why is that the narrative of black folks? But don't get me, I mean, the effed up part about it is I do love sneakers. Yeah. And I do love fried.
Right. So they got this data from focus groups, right? They like, hey, what kind of buzzwords and key points will make the connection with the black voters, right? So all of this is definitely based on focus groups and words that invoke feeling and inspire stuff, right? So
who's at the table though?
There you go. And who are the people voting on these focus groups?
And if you are a person of color inside that room and you can't get your voice heard, what are you there for?
Right.
Because honestly, I can't see me in this room going through the marketing strategy and the campaign strategy and say, hey, these sneakers will hit great for the community. This would do well for your publicity. The people, I would hear that and say, bro, this is the worst thing that you can do. Right. And even if it's a money grab, the ramifications of what that looks like is not something you would want. It's highly offensive.
Maybe to some. Right. So keep in mind, right? So that this is so we let's break it down into demographics, right? So I think that within the demographic of the black community, I would say that you and I are a little bit more conservative, right?
I'm very conservative. I ain't even gonna hold you.
Yeah.
I'm very conservative.
So I think that the way that it offends us is because we come from a perspective of understanding about a narrative, right? So we could think on a level where we like, all right, this is stepping outside of the narrative and it's really putting us in a position where we like, it feel like black exploitation almost.
Exactly
right?
what it is.
But the reality is that some people will see that and be like, oh, boy putting out sneakers, right?
Oh, he must be connected.
And it will connect, right? So I think that it just depends on.
He's sitting down eating KFC just like us.
Right.
It has to connect.
Right. Well, and a lot of that, I think that sitting down KFC, I think that's fed off of old data from that's just biased. Right? Because who don't like chicken?
I mean, we all
black
love
people
chicken.
love chicken, but so do white people,
bro.
right?
White people love fried chicken too. Korean people love fried chicken.
That's correct.
Everybody loves
fried chicken.
But it's the trope and it's the stereotype around it.
Right.
Right. And I believe if you are in any type of public sector or definitely as president, you should try your very damnedest to remove yourself from any type of thing that's going to echo a stereotype.
I agree with that.
I agree with that 100%. And that's where I'm at with it. Like,
but you know their messaging is terrible because this is the same party that showed solidarity for George Floyd by coming up with Kente cloth, right?
And kneeling. So
but no legislation was passed to protect Kaepernick, to be clear.
But and this goes to the point of why we need to be involved, right? This is the point on why we need to have people in the room, and you need to get off your couch. And I'm saying you means the people that watch our shows, the people who are on the couch, because see, they don't have a selection to go through, right? And the selection that they do go through is the people who've been in the game over and over and over and over again.
Right, that's willing to walk through the fire.
Right, or walk through the fire, and then some of them walk through the fire so much now that they're lame.
Yeah,
they don't have the passion no more. They just go through to go along to get along, and those people now just are the stamp for the black community in those rooms who just say, "I'm here for a check and a title," and no one's there to check them. And we got to continuously have a revolving door of folks and new talent coming in to ensure that old talent that could be burnt out or just don't want to fight no more or just soft to the whole topic and disconnected from their neighborhood is no longer in that position to allow that to happen.
Now, you hit the nail right on the head with that. There has to be a revolving door. But the reason why there isn't is because the education system is not producing product that's qualified enough to be in that revolving door.
That.
Like, that's really the big deal.
And I get that part, but to be quite honest with you, man, and understanding how elections goes, the people who work campaigns aren't necessarily the Harvard graduate, right? The people who work campaigns and do the most work aren't necessarily, say, the biggest and brightest folks. They're the people who they do the work, they put the time in, and they understand how to move through, certain territories. So if you are not lazy or and you have a good ethic to want to work on these campaigns, you'll see yourself have a meteoric rise into some of these campaigns. You don't necessarily need to go to school to learn how to cut data and learn and learn campaign territories. That's something you learn on your own. And you and I both know when you first get that vote builder data, you looking like whoa, who teaches us that? And the people who teaches you that, they aren't college graduates. They're people who just been in the field for a long time and got that experience.
Given that experience, yeah.
Right. So I think that we gotta, and I'm not knocking what you're saying, but I feel like sometimes when people hear that gives them a way out.
So you went all the way to the best and the brightest. I don't feel that our issue is that we don't have enough of the best and the brightest available. I feel that go to the other end, right? I feel that we producing too many people who can't even have basic functionality, right? America is full of a bunch of functionally illiterate people. That's true. Right? America is full of people who are not in a position where they can strategically think, right? So you get somebody that's all passion but don't really have a platform for critical thinking, and then they get into the position where they elected official now, and then now they living on a different lifestyle than they ever lived before. They the perfect people to be controlled.
No, it's true.
And I feel like our political system is full of a bunch of people like that.
No, you're right.
Because the masses of the population are miseducated.
I can see that.
How many people learn civics, like the brother is talking about in here, right? How many people, just in America in general, learn civics? So I think that there's far more black people that are miseducated than the majority population people in America that are miseducated. But there are a bunch of poor white people that are being miseducated as well.
And that's
right?
true.
And I want to be 100% clear. Now that I learn and understand a little bit more, there's a bunch of rural neighborhoods out here that don't have access to education as well.
At all.
But that is the way that you can control masses of people. So that's the problem. So I think that this revolving door that we need, and the reason why we have a pot of people in the political system who are not performing to the level that we need is because they're not trained to the level that they need to be trained to. I think that our best and our brightest are still the 10% that they've always been. Right? Yeah. So and I don't think that they've ever been in a position where it's the best and the brightest are going to be the ones that are going to actually be serving in public office, because the best and the brightest going to go after the higher dollars, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Because that's the other thing.
But to go, hold on. Ralph Spencer, what's up? Dakeem Williams, what's up? Corey, what's up?
What's up, family?
Yeah, I see y'all tuning in, man. Appreciate y'all, man. Yep. But what I mean by the best and the brightest, because I mean in the room is what I'm saying as far as campaign staffers.
Yeah.
People who run it, right? And even in rural America, old Cletus, he'll organize.
He will.
He'll organize and he'll go out and knock on those doors and then he'll get himself in position to say, well, I got old homeboy elected, and I got old Billy Ball elected. So now he's going from campaign manager of your local, school board member to your councilman, to your state rep, to your Senate. Right, so now old Cletus done got all the experience and everything that's going on, and now he's working in these campaigns at a high level, and he don't even have
any kind of educational background, right?
And that's
but
what
what he did have. He had an educational foundation enough to understand how to read a graph. He had an educational foundation enough to understand how to interpret data, right? So that's what I mean. He had basic skills that set him up to be able to perform in this role, right? There would be a lot more Cletuses if we had a lot more people with basic skills.
Absolutely.
That's all I'm saying. Absolutely. I don't believe that you got to be a brainiac, but I do believe that there are certain things that are put inside of us and taught that helps us be able to analyze a little better. And if we don't have it, then we're going to lack.
But just to push back on that, you are absolutely right. But when you start looking at our committee list, when we start looking at our voters and people who come out to our committee meetings, there's a lot of folk who has those basic levels. Yeah. And I want to challenge those people to do more. Right. To do more. Right. Help out those, it's don't get me wrong, it is great to come to a committee meeting. It's great what you're doing. Please don't get that out misconstrued. We need people like on the ground to continuously do the work that we do. But what I'm asking is that when you know that you have the talent to be a campaign manager or a field organizer, or someone who has that, or you have a son or a daughter that have the ability to do so, and you just have to guide them and put them in the right position, do that. Right. Because those who can should, but they're not. And that's why our numbers are so low. Those who have the ability, we need you to do so that our numbers can continuously increase. Instead of having the best 10%, we can have a great 25% in the room filling it up, because now we're becoming
because now we have a bench.
Right?
If we got 25%, now we'll have a bench.
Now we got a bench. Yep. And now we're not being obsolete. Right. And now our demographic is not being pushed to the back, because this is what's going on. Right. So when it comes down to that, what are about 3 to 5 things you think would get people to want to vote this year? Right. Like what if we had to run campaign manager Drewski? Yeah. What do the people of Southeast PA need to vote for president in 2024?
President?
Yeah. I'm not going to say a president, but because truth be told, whether it's Republican or Democrat, motherfuckers ain't going out to vote.
Right, that's correct.
Right, we had 20%.
Right. So you talking about what do the voters need collectively in DOCO?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm not. I can't speak on behalf of DOCO, right? But what I can do is I can answer your question based on my demographic of people that I can relate to in DOCO, right? So the demographic that I'm closest to would be people in the Chester, Yaden, what is it? Upper Darby.
Upper Darby,
Yeah.
Darby. I call it the boroughs by the river.
Right, boroughs by the river. So I think it can relate to them. So I think that so one, I'd love to see a revitalization of manufacturing.
Okay.
Right. So as these politicians are posturing America to bring back manufacturing in light of this Cold War we got going on with China, right? Because let's call it what it is.
Okay.
Right. We in the middle of an arms race type of deal with China right now.
Facts.
So I do know that if we were to posture ourselves to be able to receive some of the manufacturing economics, right, then that would help a great deal. How much businesses can come to Delco where we could get some factory jobs, where we could start producing again. I'd like to see that.
That's one.
The next thing I'd like to see is some kind of educational funding to inject into the school districts that would set us up for tech as America is being postured to produce these transistors.
I like that.
Right?
I like that.
So manufacturing economics on the physical portion with jobs, but then also training dollars so that way we could train our students to think in terms of people who are going to work in the tech field creating transistors, right? Because we need to have more economic development than just Wawa, right? I really want to see some skill.
No disrespect to Wawa.
No disrespect to Wawa, right? Because I don't
need more to it.
More than just Wawa and Dollar General.
We need more businesses than food businesses.
We do.
Black folk
right.
too. You know
so
what I'm saying?
I want to see the economics grow. So I think that that'd be cool. Like if we can get involved in that, right? So educational dollars towards them transistors. You know what else I think that could get people excited, and this could be Delco, but also on a national level. Why are we not exploring online voting as an option? Because Mexico is, right? Mexico, real quick, Mexico got about 2 million Mexican Americans living in a country right now that got dual citizenship. Mexico's presidential election aligned with our presidential election. And they campaigning, and one of the things that they offered, I heard this on NPR 2 days ago, they offering the option for their citizens to vote online. You don't even have to come to Mexico to cast your vote. Why are we behind on this? Why are we not expanding voter access? I'll tell you why, because not enough people are motivated about it. So number 3, right?
Or
number
motivated
3,
against it.
Let's get people motivated for expansion of voter access, right? Because if I could transact financial operations from my phone, and if I got enough encryption to where I could send things on WhatsApp and it could be a 256-bit encryption, right, or whatever, why can't you encrypt and account for my ballot?
The fact that they can track us.
You can track us.
This is our digital
footprint. All the way down to a 12-inch square. Right.
The fact that we have security thumbprints, biological unlocking things here for this phone. That we have our credit cards in here.
Yeah.
That we have our bank account information in here. So you're trying to tell me that every facet of life that we can do digitally can be through this phone. But when it comes down to voting,
right,
it's a problem.
It's a problem. Because they want to continue to shrink voter access.
Because it's the less access they have, the less access we have, the more power they have.
That's correct.
That's why we always talk about voting, y'all.
Right.
Like y'all might think we're a broken record, but the reason why is because if they take it away from us, then they have all the power.
Right.
Point blank, period. But you going to sit there and keep saying it don't matter. Okay, you think it don't matter, and we keep living in the same conditions year in, year out, year in, year out, year in, year out. But all right, so that was number 4.
Right.
Anything else?
Nah, I think that covers it for me. Well, no. One more. Una más.
What's that?
Reparations.
Ooh.
Reparations.
So I think you hit it on the nail, because that's where I was going. I was going to say, cancel student loans. More businesses and more access to big Black, brown businesses, more access to government contracts, and I think reparations is the only way that you can get people to vote. But what is it that scares people about reparations? Because if we could provide Israel and Palestine trillions of dollars, we can provide Ukraine billions of dollars, and we can do payouts to every single group that was mistreated. But the minute it becomes about African Americans or specifically black folks here in America, that we gotta be clear about that. Specifically black folks here in America.
Yeah.
Right? And what Tariq Nasheed say, foundational black Americans, right? When it comes down to the payments for that, why is it so much arguments? What is the problem?
You ready for it?
Yeah.
So America as a culture teaches and prides themselves on rugged individualism.
What's
right?
that? Rugged what's that?
So basically the same concept that tells you lace yourself up from the bootstraps and get to work.
Oh, but
right?
we ain't got no bootstraps to pull
if you
up,
work
though.
if you work hard, right? Work hard, be wise, save your money, you could live the American dream and you could be successful. So now, if I'm successful, right? Now here I am, and I've convinced myself that I've achieved this via rugged individualism, meaning that I worked hard,
okay,
right?
all right.
Right? I connect to this. I look what I did, right? Now your chest all pumped up, right?
Look at me.
I worked hard, look what I did. And then now for you to have the audacity to come and say that now, right, I gotta pay a portion of what I built, right? Because it didn't come from what I built. Now that's where it's at, right? I think because that's where the zero sum plays at.
But see, the thing is, everybody who had that rugged individualism was a benefit from either family.
That's correct.
Nepotism.
That's correct.
Family wealth.
Right.
Which all stems from the blood, sweat, and tears from slavery.
That's a fact.
And 45 said it himself. I built myself on a loan from my father of $1 million.
A small loan.
Come on, dog.
A small loan.
So you telling me your bootstraps of $1 million
Didn't assist you?
and plus didn't assist you, because now you got bootstraps. Now my bootstraps was negative value,
That's correct.
right? Most of us come out with a negative net worth, bro.
Right.
If you got a brown, if your skin look like this, and if you don't come from
Right.
long money,
Right.
you come out with a negative net worth.
That's a fact.
So
That's a
now
fact.
what bootstraps am I? How can I save when I'm drowning?
That's a fact.
How can I pull up bootstraps when I ain't got no damn shoestrings?
But how about this, right? Because that's not enough. It doesn't stop there. Remember, we already talked about it so that we talking about the slavery dollars. But then let's talk about the fact that on how during Reconstruction, a third of Congress was black people. Black businesses were thriving, right? And then they got burned. They got burned down, right? In the 1900s because of the rise of the KKK, right? How many communities were burned down, right? So now this is post-slavery. Then let's talk about Jim Crow, right? On how Jim Crow, as soon as Jim Crow comes about and in the fall of Jim Crow, and then we integrate and we stop supporting black businesses and they just get swallowed up into the economy, right?
Swallowed.
So I think that every generation has a solid argument, because then after the King movement, right, or actually during the King movement, then you see between while King is on the rise during that same time, World War II is ending. We got all of this capacity, all of these housing loans are going towards building up white communities, right?
Check out the new Martin Luther King.
Yep, I'll check it out. But so now the housing is coming across to all white neighborhoods, but then black people being
the redlining, yeah, absolutely.
yeah, red. So the redlining becomes then they outlaw
How they built
redlining,
95 right through the hood.
right? And we
have a living example of this.
That's correct.
This neighborhood
right here in Chester, right now.
You
right?
can see it.
So every generation, right?
Okay.
Every generation. So you got slavery, then you got the Reconstruction era, right?
Yep.
And then you got the early 1900s sharecropper eras, which was basically living in the time frame of a new slavery, right?
Yep.
That goes all the way up into the 1940s. Then you got the World War II era, right? That they got the housing thing, right? Then you got the 1970s, you got the heroin epidemic,
you're
right? Then you got the 1980s, the crack epidemic.
You're right.
Both the heroin and the crack epidemic has documented government backing and support, right?
No, you're right.
It's documented that the CIA assisted with all of them birds that was flying. Oh, let me not say birds. Let me use the real cocaine, keys of cocaine that was being dropped off and distributed into the United States, into Compton, into New York City, the Bronx and Brooklyn, right? The black areas, into all of these already redline black areas. They dropping off all of these drugs, right? That's another case for reparations.
No, you're right.
So all of these different levels, we got these economics being extracted out of our community,
Absolutely.
right? But then then rugged individualism is the reason why we're successful, right? So the reason why reparations is getting shot down every time, because reparations is going to take accountability, and people have an accountability problem.
But do they realize? And here's I want to say the
Corey said, "You forgot the slaves won the Civil War." No, I didn't forget that. That's just another story. Not only did the slaves win the Civil War, not only did that, but the black people run World War I and World War II, right? Let's not forget about the Red Tails, who was the only ones that were supporting the bombers during World War II, right? Every single war in American history, black people changed the tide.
I think other people need to understand is that because there's a need for that to happen.
Right.
It doesn't say you, Bill, Bob, Jane, Sue, or Paula
played a role in
that.
It just says that
doesn't
we're
indict
citizens,
right?
in a country,
right,
that played a role.
It doesn't say you did that. It didn't say you have to take that charge. Because when America paid out all the money to all the other groups, did you feel that the same personal conviction? No, but the conviction that you should have is that, damn, I am very cognizant of what happened in America, and this has been the plight over the last 300 years. Let me be an ally instead of a hurdle. Right. Let me be an ally and a friend and a conduit of how to move forward. Because if you're about progress, why are you in the way of it? Because everybody who's saying that they're a friend or an ally to progress, they constantly are the ones that's against the progression.
Right.
So what you need to understand is, in order for the country to heal itself from what's going on, and let's even talk from a capitalistic point of view. Let's just think about some business shit, right? My bad.
Yep, it's all good.
When you do pay, all right, put it like this. When we got the stimmies, who benefited the most?
Businesses.
Right?
Right.
Didn't the economy benefit the most?
Absolutely.
And I don't understand how they didn't really measure that because I think about the Chappelle show. Did you ever see the Chappelle show?
I did. The skit when the reparations.
Yeah,
and he was like,
exactly.
He was like, they can't wait to get this money back to us.
So are you scared
are you scared
of the smart
Newport,
ones?
Sprint, and
Cadillac.
And Cadillac had record earnings.
And Fendi and Louis Vuitton. So even if that's the case, even if we talk about that, your businesses will thrive 6,000-fold. Right. What is it that you're scared of the ones who are like us,
that's
going to
do it the right way,
that's going to do it the right way? Are you scared of losing that ground there?
But wouldn't you be
ground that you're going to lose,
bro? Wouldn't you be? So let's take another route, right?
Okay.
Like, cause now I'm about to
defense attorney. Okay, go ahead.
Not even defense attorney. Okay. More so now, this gonna come from just a proud brother, right?
Okay.
Like I love our people,
okay.
Right? So here we go. Wouldn't you be afraid if I knew that every generation I kept my boot on your neck? I know it because I read it and I see it, right? And yet you're still here, and no matter how much I take from you, no matter how much I destroy from you, every time I look back, you still on my ass.
I'm still here. I'm still thriving.
Would you not quiver? Would you not be fearful?
No, yeah.
Would you say, all right, now is the time that I got to let up?
No.
So by no means am I sitting here saying that I
right.
agree with the persecution or the subjugation.
You're just talking if you're proud on the other side.
Right, but at the end of the day, wouldn't you? Because that's low-key scary. No matter what I do to you, I can't stop you.
Because if you're a person that practices segregation and separatism, that's the mindset you're gonna have. Right. And I get it, you know. Right. And there's nothing wrong to have pride in your beliefs and pride in your neighborhood, pride in your race, pride in your community. Right. There's nothing wrong with that. Continuously be prideful,
especially when we got the history to back it.
Right.
I made a post the other day, and I'm gonna stand by it. Every single bit of progress that America has made towards the quote unquote American dream, every bit of progress to upholding that said American dream has been forced by a black man, right? Frederick Douglass was the heart and soul of the country, right? During the time of Lincoln forcing the Emancipation Proclamation, right? And then all of the aftermath that came after that, the 14th Amendment, right?
You're right.
Right?
You're right.
Those amendments, that 15th Amendment, 16th Amendment, they all came as a result of the work that started with Frederick Douglass, holding this nation to that example, right?
Every example.
And then followed by a W.E.B. Du Bois, right? Who began to organize our people, right? And started the NAACP. That would go on with the ACLU, excuse me, and fund the civil rights struggle of the 1960s from a Martin Luther King Jr., who would make America have a dream that would still continue to hold to these 14th, 15th, and 16th Amendment values, right? Every bit of time that we have is all. Then you got
every single time.
You got right immediately following King, you got Malcolm X, who was working simultaneously to him, but then you got Huey P. Newton with the Black Panthers, right? That makes the change. Every single generation, bro. It's our people that has held America to them standards. Our people. So that's got to be scary if you on the other side.
But the thing is the messed up part is just because you're pro doesn't mean you're anti.
That's correct.
And that's what
right, because I don't have no hate for people. I love people.
Right. And that's the thing. You can be pro-Hispanic, you could be pro-white, you could be pro-black.
Right.
And just because we're talking some things that's pro-black does not mean we're anti
it doesn't.
Anybody
because I don't support hate at all. At all. In no way, shape, form, or fashion.
I don't even have a thought to try to keep anybody else down or away or away from anything.
Right.
And I had this conversation in one of the board meetings that I was in, and it was like during DE&I month and whatever. And I was just saying, it's like, look, black folk, their only thing was we just wanted to know when the party was, right? The party.
Right.
So don't tell me the party is at 9 o'clock and it really started at 8, right? And that's been the whole issue the whole time. Like, don't tell me one thing and then do another. If it starts at 8, let me get there at 8. If it's a mile to finish, let it be a mile to finish.
Right.
But don't
keep moving the goalposts. Don't play with the time to try to make me look bad.
And that's all we
Stop
want to do.
trying to harass me.
That's it. We just
But
want
the reason why that's happening
is
because in spite of the games being played, in spite of the moving of the time, in spite of all of that, again, every time they look back, right, we right there on their ass.
Right there.
That in of itself is scary.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's, again, what
the ghetto boys say? Now that's the ninja I be seeing in my dreams, right?
Yeah, man. Yeah. So it just really, but going back to what we were saying, those are the things that I think will get folks to want to vote.
I agree.
And I see that there's been some real legislation that's been out there from the Reparations Commission in California that's done by Governor Newsom to the Reparations Advisory Committee that started here in Philadelphia.
Shout out to Philadelphia for leading the charge on that. Yeah. The first major city on the East Coast.
That's large, right?
Yep.
And to the Reparations Committee that I'm seeing that started in the progressives that's doing in Congress.
Right.
So now we're all pushing towards it because it's not going to go away.
Right.
Like it continuously be a black eye to the country, man.
Yeah, we're not gonna be able to heal until we address it.
Word.
Right.
We got to. We can't.
Right. We got to address it.
We can't keep putting this Band-Aid over this gash, man.
We can't.
It's been,
especially when you playing with the infection.
Right. And then
you putting a Band-Aid over the gash, but you rip it off, you poke it, then you put the same dirty Band-Aid back, then you rip it off, you poke it again. Now it's getting infected. You like it just won't heal. It's a problem. Right.
So just let it heal, man. Just let it heal properly so that we can continue to move on.
Yeah.
Stephen Marshall says, big facts. We need a return on investments. Our ancestors sweat equity that contributed to the success of this nation.
Absolutely.
Willie Lynch teach our kids.
Right. And that's exactly it to the brother Star Corey and the brother Stephen Marshall's. Absolutely.
Word.
So we definitely need to understand there's a psychology at war, man. Yeah, and we got to, that's why we're trying to do this, to change the narrative, to push back against it, right?
That's
give whatever kind of things we can, pass the information to get it going.
That's a fact.
All right, well, we done went heavy on the politics for a while. We done talked about unitary executive theory. We done talked about reparations. We talked about voting. So
Biden.
Yeah.
And the Republican candidate, you already heard what we need to vote.
Right.
Student loans, reparations, money for businesses.
Right. Economic development. We want education.
Fair education.
Right. But education in tech, right? Put them dollars specifically earmarked so we can compete into this technical field, right?
That's right. So with that being said, don't come down here with no sneakers and no fried chicken.
Joe, we don't want your chicken.
All right.
Right.
Don't
Trump,
come
we don't
over
want them
here
sneakers.
Asking us to say, hey, how we can get people in the room because we got something in common because we got mugshots.
I'm telling you how to fill the room right now. We're telling you,
right? Here.
Right. Oh, online voting access, right? Because we also access to voting.
That's right, man.
Easier access to voting, right? You want to get people involved? Send me a link.
Progression. Show me true progress. Right.
Send me a link. Verify my credentials. Send me a link.
This is how we always talk about what we want to leverage our votes on. There you got.
Yeah.
There you have it. To all those campaign directors, there you have it. Don't come into the city of anything that's Chester City, Darby Borough, Upper Darby, Lansdowne.
The municipalities on the river. Don't come to none of them.
Don't come down here.
Right, looking for something other than what we talking about. Don't
Not
be
coming
shocked.
with that.
Right.
Like if you
that's what
don't, we
need.
ain't listening and we ain't gathering up, we ain't putting it together. It ain't gonna happen unless you coming with it.
Right.
And I want all our committee members and all our stakeholders from both sides of the fence.
Right.
This is what we need. This is what's going on.
And our people, we need to fill committee spots, right? Because every municipality got openings in committees.
That's right.
Right.
I'm
And we shouldn't
tired
have
of
no openings. Like why do we continue to have openings
That's
and
right.
spots open, right?
You want to know what it is that we need? Well, we leveraged it. There it is, right there.
Right.
And you may not like it, but guess what? That's what we going with. And I'm tired of people saying, let's check this, let's check that. No, that's the 5 right there. That's it.
Right. Stephen Marshall said he loved the conversation. Appreciate it, man. He said it's always good to listen to the big bro.
Steve, my boy, man, you a
knowledge.
star, brother. I know you, man. That's my man. Good, keep doing the work that you're doing. What's the next joint we got?
All right, we're gonna end it on a light note, man. We got to talk about so what was it? The beautiful Drea, right? Is it Drea?
Oh yeah.
Drea, she gorgeous, but she out here. She apparently a cougar or whatever.
These cougars is slaying them.
These cougars are slaying them.
They
What's the other
bagging
one?
them.
The beautiful one. The other beautiful one that got the
Amber
20-year-old.
Rose.
Well, Amber Rose too, but Amber. So there's another one that happened a couple
Drea.
weeks ago. Remember the joint? She made it about 3 months ago or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
The other basketball player that she trapped, it was the young boy. Same exact deal. She older. She like 40. She was 39 or whatever.
Yeah. I know. I can't remember her name.
So all 3 of them.
She bagged another.
Yeah.
So,
But then I want to ask you. So is it? You know what I mean? Like this older versus younger thing. It been happening, and we also understand that dudes do it as well,
we do.
right?
We've
So
been doing it.
So all right, let's talk about that. Let's explore that a little bit.
So it's that's funny, man. Like it is what you call it? I can't think of the word where one can do it in
the double standard.
It's a double standard.
Is
It is
it
a double.
though?
I truly believe there is a double standard.
Yeah. Okay.
That's out there that we don't like, but it's there, right? So there's been cougars around for a long time, right? But and there's been men,
Yeah.
who's been keying on younger girls, who 20 years younger, whatever, for a long time.
Right.
But the thing is, now that the times has changed, and I think this is where my radar goes off at, right?
Right.
These cougars now are, because of the age that they are and the time that we live in, they're able to have multiple babies and kind of trap these young men.
Right.
Rather than the older cougars who just, utilizing them and not past their baby making age and stuff like
Right.
that. So now we got these cougars now looking to secure the bag.
So
Which seems
we
more
got to separate them,
predatory
right?
to me.
Because we got to have the cougars. The cougars need to be reserved for the traditional form, right?
Yeah.
So could we call these younger Jones that still of baby making age but still older? Could we call them Panthers?
Okay, I like that.
Right.
I like that.
Right.
They panthers because they still on the prowl.
Right.
They still searching
Right.
for prey because
Right.
they going out hunting. Cougars
They are.
don't hunt.
Right.
Cougars get it.
No, I feel like they
them.
hunt, but they wait for it. Yeah,
But
I
these young
agree.
girls is at the game.
Yeah,
they at the.
they-
They at the.
They going for the jugular a little
They
bit.
going in.
But so my thing is, right? So it's like, all right, so on one end you got Shorty, that you got the little Panther. She's still looking phenomenal out in these streets. Right?
Facts.
So
Like they still look like better
Yeah.
than some of the 20-year-olds.
so they know it. They know it, and they like, all right, look, I want to maintain. Let's call it. I want to maintain my lifestyle, right?
Okay.
I'm used to living this high life.
Yeah.
Right. When I was in my 20s or whatever, I was out here doing my thing. Now I know I'm settling down. Age is setting in, but while I still look good, let me go ahead and secure my retirement plan and knock up this young 20-year-old that's still. Get knocked up by this young 20-year-old that's still
20.
out here. Now, but then so the problem coming, like I get it. Yeah, you 39, he 20, or you 42.
You making me a dad.
You make it, yeah, but is she making you a dad?
Yeah, listen.
Or did you make you a dad?
No. Listen,
because it's a different story if she busts a hole in my condom. I was doing everything right, or she got herself knocked up by what's the squeezy joint with the baster, the chicken baster. It's different when you're using a turkey baster. That's grimy.
True.
But if I slide in you because I'm looking at you and you looking like Amber Rose and you with exactly what I wanted, I'm in the NBA now.
But that's what I'm going with it, right? So, I grew up off you. It's just like us growing up on Tyra Banks and Nia Long and stuff like that, right?
Right.
So when you finally get the capacity and the money and the status to get her,
Yeah.
you going in.
You going in.
Right?
Right.
Now
you done shot up the club.
Yeah.
Now, is she wrong because she knew you was going to do it?
Yes.
Because she wise enough.
Yes.
She's wrong, bro?
Yes.
So here go my thing. What's stopping him from? Look, you know that all right, I'm gonna give you. I can only relate to what I can relate to. Check it out, right? So I was in the military, so it's nowhere near like the basketball thing, right? But in the military, when you near a military base, especially when it's a small town, they know you got benefits and you a consistent check.
Facts.
So you the mark in the same way. It's nowhere near the level of NBA, but you a mark in the same exact way.
You're a consistent
and it's not uncommon to see a young PFC, and that age group is from the age of 18 to 21. A young PFC coming in with their chest poked out because they got this 40-year-old woman that they about to add to their tri-care because they married
moms,
now.
watch your sons,
right?
Military moms.
Watch your sons, definitely, right? Especially if they in the military, right? Because they definitely a mark,
That's
right? So in the same manner, just like that, I say this to say, bro, I knew this. When I got to Lejeune, I understood this. I moved accordingly, right? So I could see it, I could watch it. I didn't want no kids, brother. And I was wise enough to know that I'm a commodity, so I moved accordingly.
So you off base.
I'm off base.
Right? And you run into
Ivory. Let's use real names. We might as well.
Okay.
Fact check it. It's
all
real.
All right. So you run into an Ivory,
Yep.
right? Yeah, but the thing is, you always wanted Ivory.
Ivory, she was bad.
You always wanted her your whole time, your whole life, right?
Yeah.
You went through your preteens,
Right.
dreaming about Ivory, right?
Right.
And using the sock on Ivory,
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Went through a lot of lotion and Vaseline on
Right.
So when Ivory finally comes around and say, Drewski, I see you with your uniform on. Look at you. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And now she give you a shot. And you go swimming and then you shoot the club up.
Right.
She had the plan to.
She did.
Right?
She did.
That's manipulation.
It is.
Right?
Right.
So now it's your fault for being manipulated?
Absolutely.
See.
Because
listen,
look, Ivory tried to manipulate young Drewski.
Yeah.
And young Drewski was like, nah.
Okay.
It's not going down. Nah. I said, yo, you crazy. Like, I had to get a little bit aggressive. Right? It's not going down. Because she was trying. She was trying to jump on it. Let's do it. She wanted to hop on the pony, bro. Yeah. But I'm like, nah, I need to put this saddle on first.
Yeah.
Right? And she trying to push forward in the motion. She was trying to be manipulative.
But how?
I was trying not to be a daddy at the time.
But as we discussed a little earlier, how many times are we able to reject that type of advancement?
Now, you're right, especially if it's consistent. What they say, the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak.
Exactly. So you're an older woman, and you know what you're doing.
Right.
You can't fault this young man.
Yeah.
And he does take fault. Let me be clear.
Right.
It's equal. But it's kind of like this. You got this white carpet. I got mud on my shoes.
Right.
You see me got mud on my shoes. You allow me to walk on your white carpet and fuck your white carpet up.
Right.
Who's more in fault?
The person that allowed it.
So if you let me come shoot up your club, knowing that I ain't ready to shoot up your club.
Right. But you are ready because you're making enough money to pay for it. Because I don't need you to wake up in the middle of the night. I don't need you to wake up in the middle of the night, right? All I need is them coins.
But
I'm gonna take care of the baby, right?
Amber was.
So I already
Amber
know
Rose is
I already
age.
know. I'm not expecting you to be around. Go
I'm a
off, do
little
your
older
thing.
than you.
Go off, do your thing. Play ball, right? And then when you come on home, I'ma already be set up in your crib because I'm getting at least 20,000 off the rip.
C.J. Stroud
right?
was born in 2003, bro.
Yeah, it's crazy.
My daughter Mari was born in 2003.
Listen,
I was 22.
16.
So do you blame your baby mom for letting you shoot up the club and you getting her pregnant with your daughter at 20?
No, I don't blame her
Because she's not older.
Because she's because we're the same age.
It
All right,
doesn't
well then-
matter. It
so
doesn't
then-
matter.
And I wasn't manipulating.
So then,
was
by
so
that same
20.
logic, then when the old head, when the 29 or nah, let's go big. Let's keep it the same age. When the 39-year-old pull up to the high school, the 39-year-old man pull up to the high school to pick up his 18-year-old senior in high school. That's not his daughter, but it's his girl, right?
Ooh, that's different.
No, it's not.
No, it's the same thing. No,
It's the same thing.
It's the same thing.
It's
It's the same thing because it's still them manipulating and
Right.
being predatory. And I'm looking at the comments. I don't remember the Cougars getting pregnant and being opportunistic,
Right.
and preying on the young men.
Right, nah, they wasn't. Because the Cougars couldn't make babies.
They
They was
said, yes,
already
she's
having their
hella
little.
wrong.
They was having their
Being
private
an
summers
opportunist.
already.
Yeah.
But do y'all really think it's a thing of manipulation versus just? See, I watch Basketball Wives, so I understand the lifestyle that those ladies want to live.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter the age of the person that
It's
they're
just-
getting the
it's
money
them being
from.
access
For
to that
them,
same life.
it's being
part
having
of the
access
club.
because she was just dating somebody that was 34
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
right
Right.
before him.
So she got to
That
find
had
another way
money.
into the
But
club.
and a
she's-
20-year-old, she maximizing the longevity of the game.
Absolutely.
Right? But look though,
You want
so
access to the
even-
club.
but so
that's
check it
manipulative.
out. Back to that same thing that I gave. So the 39-year-old, right?
Okay.
If he got put on, like he been out here living this lifestyle, having access to young, beautiful women since he was in his 20s.
Mm-hmm.
Now he's 39. I still want to have access to young, beautiful women.
Okay.
I want that young energy in my life. And now I'm not saying it's okay, but I want to understand what's the difference in this. So now why is it that we blaming the woman for locking in the 20-year-old for survival, but then the man is doing it because he want to maintain his lifestyle too. He want to have access to this young woman that he
what's
can
the
he can
measures,
manipulate in the same way, huh?
What's the measures?
And
though?
I was gonna say,
What's the measures?
like what is?
If you 39 and you got an 18-year-old, you taking care of her. She don't want for
I'm
nothing.
taking care of her. She not
right?
one for
She
nothing.
ain't wanting for nothing. You picking her up from school, dropping her off because it's her senior year. I think it's wrong.
Yeah,
Right?
I-
Let's be
but
clear.
that's
It's
what it is.
very
Okay,
wrong.
okay.
But you,
But I'm taking care
you
of her.
handling it. You taking care of
Everything
her.
she needs.
She got everything she need.
I'm
Right?
doing it.
You
Man.
providing for it,
Okay.
right? But in return, you got this young girl who's very easily manipulated,
True.
right?
True.
She young, so in your mind, you know she untouched,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah. Everything
she moldable,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
And ultimately, that man is looking towards maintaining the lifestyle that he's used to.
So
what's the difference?
So he's giving her stability, security, and a lifestyle, and she's giving him youth, purity, and whatever he wants.
Absolutely correct.
All right, cool. So now when we get to the 40-year-old woman,
Right.
What is she giving this 20-year-old man other than sex?
maturity.
What else?
Yeah, guidance,
guidance.
right? Because look,
Okay,
so
okay,
look,
I'm not mad,
because she
I'm
could be
not
doing
mad.
it right,
Same
right?
thing.
So Amber Rose been in this game for a while, right? So say it's Amber Rose, she got the 20-year-old.
Okay.
Hey man, listen,
What's
when
she
you go to
giving?
these other cities, it's gonna be a bunch of girls that's gonna be
Okay.
trying to do this, and this.
Okay.
Look out for this. Don't do that.
The same thing
Oh,
she's
and
doing.
make sure you putting your bread to the side, right? Because now you got a child now, so you can't be out here going to the club and making it rain.
But is she making me? Is she taking my money or is she giving me money?
I'm gonna say both. She not giving
I
you
was
no
gonna
money,
say,
but if she
Drea
giving you
has
game
money
to grow
too.
your money, because for real, right? Like let's look at the traditional
take that.
standard,
I can
right?
take that.
The traditional standard has always been that men perform more successfully when they doing it for their family.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
So at the end of the day, you can't have a Kobe Bryant. You can't have a Shaq. You can't have a Michael Jordan. Well, yeah, you can because
Age
Michael was
doesn't- age
different.
doesn't
But
equal
these
maturity, right.
people, they excelled where they did in their careers because they was doing it for their family.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? AI who didn't have a family, look what happened. Right?
Mm.
So talent is not the end all be all, right? Your decision making process is gonna change when you got
No,
a family.
I get that.
So what is she providing for him? I'm gonna
But
say,
she can't
I'm
provide
gonna
me a
say,
family though.
but she did if she
already
got
come
knocked
in
up
with
and
a
she already got
with already a family.
No,
she
hear
came
me
in
out
with a
though.
pre-made family.
Sometimes,
You know
right?
what I'm saying?
But if I
And-
knock you up to get child support, which is the original context that we was operating
Yeah, exactly.
in,
So
right?
you're not-
There's
so-
your family.
Yeah.
Because now I got a baby now. Now I'm a father.
Willingly
I'm a
or
20-year-old
unwillingly?
father. So now I'm
Willingly?
getting, I mean, not willingly, but
But you know,
but
that's
kind of
different.
willingly because
Okay.
you went in it raw and shot up the club. You knew the implications.
yeah,
You
yeah.
understood full because you might not be old, but at 20 you know that math. You know raw plus shoot up the club
Yeah.
equals likely
But
baby.
guess what? At 42, I know that young and impressionable and I'm his everything.
That's the same exact. That's the same exact thing like that girl that's getting picked up from high school by the 39-year-old.
So
she's young, she impressionable.
So what you saying?
I'm her everything.
So what you're saying is the man's security is equal to the older woman's physicality and sexuality
and guidance, but also on guidance, right?
Yeah.
Because now that I know, if I know I'm 20, right, but I also know that I got my baby mom and my kid I got to take care of. If she in my ear saying, when you at the club, don't make it rain too much because you need to be putting some of this money aside for the future because you got a child now, right? And don't fall for this trap because when I was in my 20s, this is what I was doing, so this is what it looks like. How much money did she save him?
And I'm not gonna go against that, but do you think they doing that? Do you really think that these women are doing that for these young boys?
I think
if
that
they are,
I think
why
some of them are.
have they been in so many different situations?
Right. I think some of them are. I think if you
are they in it for the bag and they just talk to get the baby and then be out?
It's different
and
when
I think that's what men are saying.
Though.
Like,
it's different when you 39, right? She 39, and you messing with your 34-year-old. That 34-year-old, he a man. He's setting his ways.
You can't run that game.
He not as malleable.
But you can't run that game on me neither.
You can't run no game on me, and I'm gonna do what I want to do.
Same thing with the women.
But when I'm 20, I'm still green. I don't have enough information,
Very green.
right? So what I'm saying is the 39-year-old that goes after the 20-year-old, I'm thinking they're doing it because they want to be able to control that young mind, regardless of the gender.
But see, I feel that maybe the intention is different, right? When you say the old man going after the young girls, he's going after it for like the youth and not necessarily to secure anything other than just having access to youth, right? But it feels like when it comes down to these cougars that they are utilizing it with bad intentions to stay relevant in the lane that they want to be in and stay relevant to get the lifestyle and the money that's coming with that young man, and they're using all the tools to extract that from them.
I mean,
and
maybe you're right.
And I think that's where society is starting to look at it as, is like, well, all right, most of the time old men want young girls because they just want their youth and vigor, but they're not necessarily doing anything that's malicious to get them like out the way. Or
no, I don't agree with that, because a lot of them old heads be knocking them young girls up, right, and then leaving them as single moms.
That's true.
Real talk.
True. Yeah, no.
And my biological, I love my siblings. I now got a lot of appreciation for my biological father, but he the perfect example. Like, he was like 17 years older than my mother, right? And I grew up without my pops, right? So did he do it maliciously? I mean, it's hard to tell. But what I do know for certain is he wanted some yeeks. He got some yeeks from a young girl, right? Yeah. And in the end, I grew up without a pops.
So is it the same thing that's going to happen with the older woman?
I mean, maybe, but maybe
get
not.
Pregnant, have a baby, get child support, and they be out.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. That it's hard to say that either one of them is worse. I think they the same.
Yeah. They say old ass cougars, young men continues to divide between the black nuclear family and child support babies. Dre has kids and no rings.
Oh, Drea, right.
Oh, Drea has kids and no rings. Same with them, all of them. They're producing kids that don't understand nuclear families.
Nah, all right, I agree with that. The end state is not turning out strong families where they got the shorty in there giving the young boy advice. But we also don't know, because this is her first 20-year-old that we know of. All the other babies was by her peers.
Man.
Right? So to me, it's not clear-cut worse. Right? I don't think it's a clear-cut worse on the girl than it is on the dude when they doing it. I just
think, only reason why I feel like there's a difference is because I think there's systems in place that gives one a benefit over the other.
All right, that's fair. I do agree with that.
And if there wasn't any systems in place and it was truly equal from what's going on, then I think that then it'll be, fair game.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I do. They are age. One thing is the Jones of our age range, our Jones of our generation, they stay bad, bro.
Man, you ain't never lied.
Bad. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but I'm gonna also go as far as to say all the way up to like the 50-year-olds, because I gotta use her as an example again. Nia Long still looks amazing.
She's still amazing, bro.
She's 52.
Still amazing. And you're right. She's 52.
So now let's talk about real numbers. Sis 15 years older than me. Right? And I love my lady, don't get me wrong. I love her.
She's 10 years older than me.
But I'm wondering if she understands that if we was out somewhere and Nia Long was shooting her shot, I might be like, babe, like, listen, it's Nia Long. Look, it's Nia.
Listen, Stacey gonna know. You know how much I love Nia Long? Give me the opportunity.
So, but not.
Give
so
me the opportunity.
They definitely aging well, and
For real.
I don't know, man. I don't. If I was a ball player and my first baby mom was Drea, even if I had to pay her child support, I don't know how mad I would be. Bro, I pay child support right now.
Yeah, that's rough, bro.
So I don't know if I would be pissed off that it was Drea.
Yeah,
I don't know.
No,
I don't know how mad I could be.
Drea's
but it's
nice.
definitely not fair. It's definitely not fair at all.
But you know, you would. Well, a lot of us don't get the chance to choose.
Stephen Marshall is hilarious. He done went. What do you say? Right.
Yo, man. Drea is nice, but I don't know, man. I just feel some type of way about that. I don't know. Maybe it's me. I don't know. I got some therapy to work out on that, I guess. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, baby. But so what I will agree 100% though, the child support system not fair.
Oh man,
It's definitely not fair.
But
But I don't think it was ever intended to be fair. I think its intention was to generate and move dollars.
That's
Right?
all
It's another lever on the economic system.
It's the worst. I wish that on nobody. For man, woman, boy, like child support is one of the worst systems to be into. You know, I was in it, and it's no fun, none at all. You know, just I think that's the type of stuff that you could do amicably. I think you can have a good conversation with one another and hold true to your word and ensure that your kids are taken care of.
Yeah, I
but
agree.
you know, there's our situations where it's needed, and I understand that part. But if you're an active father, if you're an active mother, it's not really a need for it if you can continuously work it out and have communication with one another. Right. And it should never be used as a weapon against one another. That's just my thing. It's not a weapon. You know, only thing it's going to do is hurt the child at the end of the day.
If it's a weapon, I agree. Mm-hmm. But I mean, ultimately, as long as we making sure we doing our part as men, I think that all of that could be worked out.
Yeah, you're right.
Because the reality is that I pay child support. I also co-parent with my children's mom. We got a great co-parenting relationship.
That's
and
what's
it work
up.
out well. Like I'm blessed. When people be arguing about their baby mom issues, I just listen and shut up.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good thing. You know,
I don't have them.
Yeah,
I don't have them issues.
Yeah, I don't have. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right, man.
I gotta say I'm blessed.
It's good to have that open dialogue with one another and co-parent.
It is.
You know, being able to co-parent is dope. You know what I mean?
Right. He said the child support system benefits more than the child. For sure, yeah. Because any person, whatever the organization that's administering the child support takes a percentage, right? So, and then outside of that, it's in effect a redistribution of wealth.
Yeah.
So, but all right, we've been
what's
rocking
that?
for a long time.
Is
We
that
covered a
it
whole
for
lot.
us for today, man?
Yeah, I think that's it for us, man. We done covered Jay-Z. We done talked about voting online, built a platform. We done talked about
reparations.
Reparations. What is it? The unitary or unilateral executive theory.
That's right.
We covered a lot, man. It's been a heck of a show.
It's been a good show, man. And again, we appreciate you guys for tuning in.
We absolutely appreciate the tuning in.
We do need you just to go like the page, man. Go in, like what we got going on. That algorithm means everything.
It is. And we appreciate y'all for commenting and everything. This has been good.
Y'all rocking out
help us with the algorithm. Share it, man. If you can.
Yeah, Steve, we got a new fan, brother. I'm glad, dog. You know what I'm saying?
Glad you tuned in, man.
That's what I've been trying to tell folks. Just give it a listen on your Saturday. I guarantee you, your brain gonna be spinning. You're gonna be like, yeah, they got
a lot of thought-provoking stuff, right? We need to play this. This need to be on loop in all of the radio stations. I mean, and all of the barbershops across the country, man.
Word.
This real. We be having some good barbershop conversations.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Yep. And we gonna continue it, man. We gonna continue it. So we just gonna go ahead and wrap this joint up, bro.
Man, I'm Andrew Nelson.
And I'm Malcolm Yates.
And we the narrative.
Absolutely. Thank you, y'all.
This is my heritage, all I'm inheriting. Money and power.